Welcome to the Edo Story series. With me this day is Mr. Kevin Wabi. He's the Managing Director of Edo State Investment Promotion Office. We'll be talking briefly about our investment and what we have done within the last couple of years as Edo State, trying to promote investment into our state. And so he'll be giving us brief in terms of what the office has been able to achieve. Mr. Kevin, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So briefly, we'd like to know you. Briefly introduce yourself. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Kevin Wabi. I'm the Managing Director for the Edo State Investment Promotion Office. My previous background has been development, finance, and at the same time looking at consultancy over the span of 20 years.
Okay, great. Now we are here. Tell us what the office is all about. When was it set up, and what informed in setting up by the governor of the state, Mr. Godwin Obaseki?
Okay, thank you. The office, the Edo State Investment Promotion Office, also known as ESIPO, was established January 2018. And that came about as a result of His Excellency wanting to see that we could drive investment into the state, ensure that the state is attractive to investors. And at that point, what we did was to get the office set up. Okay. And in setting up the office, we needed to make sure that it was there was legislative backing for the office. And the law was sent to the House of Assembly, which was passed. And presently, as the office, the mandate is to attract investment, to ensure that investors that are coming to Edo State to invest have a seamless experience, enable the business environment, promote exports, and ensure that what we call the micro, small, and medium enterprises are investor ready.
Yeah. So far, since 2018 to date, you want to tell us how has the journey been in terms of achieving this core mandate of ensuring that we have investment promoted within the state?
Oh, thank you. It's been a very interesting journey for us as a state. If you recall, Edo before now was being seen as a student and, as they call it, civil service state. Yeah. That is changing. A lot of investors have come in, both domestic and foreign investors. When we started, one of the things we did was to engage existing investors. We wanted to know their pain points. We wanted to know areas that we could support. I do recall one of the meetings we had. The businesses were they were kind of surprised. They had said, "Wow, government, you're interested in us?" They didn't quite believe. And we informed them that we're doing things differently, that we wanted to see how we could support them as a government. And that opened the space for conversations, dialogue, and also policy modifications to suit the business environment. As we have done that, we also undertook policy reforms. If you recall, January 2017, His Excellency prohibited the land grabbing situation we're facing, which was a major challenge for investors. Then we looked at the what we call the Edo State Geographical Information System, because one of the major challenges that a lot of investors were facing was getting what we call the certificate of occupancy for their landed property. And as you know, if you understand finance very well, you can't approach any what we call development finance institutions, DFIs, without having like your landed documentations or your property documentations. So that was also done, and we worked towards reducing. Before now, it could take up to 90 days or 180 days, even to 360 days to get your certificate of occupancy. That has been drastically reduced, and not to speak about what you needed to pay to be able to get it. Our entry point at the time was 50,000 naira. And as we speak right now, It's going on well. We are also working towards improving and reducing the time which you will use to get your certificate of occupancy. Then we not embarked on a roadshow. What I mean a roadshow, investor drive. In doing that, we needed to have the informations. We needed to place it in a document that will be concise and understandable by investors. So for the first time, Edo State came up with the investment guide. And that guide, we started saying to proposed or investors to look at what we're doing, the opportunities in Edo State. And we started going to several areas, locations, even outside Edo State, to pitch to investors. And as we always say, the governor is the chief investment officer of the state. And as we speak, we can tell you that we have attracted in the last 7 years $2.5 billion in both domestic and foreign investments.
Try to speak to it earlier in terms of the ease of doing business. Aside of the reforms in the land area that has now made it easier for land acquisition, what other incentives are in place in terms of the ease of doing business for people to come into the state?
What we had done is that we had looked at reforms because investors, they are more particular about the act than the talk. And in doing that, we had looked at the built environment, like I said. Before now, there have been a lot of distortions in the built environment. And that has brought us now to long-term looking at our 30-year plan. And one other very important thing was you cannot talk about investments or investors coming in without having power. So Edo State was one, and I think only state at a point that we came up with the electricity law. It was 2 weeks after we had passed our law that the National House of Assembly passed the law at the national level. What that had done for us was that we were looking at how, as a state, we could support businesses. So as we speak, Edo State generates over 1,000 megawatts of power through Azua, through other generating discos. But at that point, this power wasn't being utilized internally because they were generating and sending those powers to the national grid, as we say. And that now made us, in collaboration with Osiomo, to come up with what we call an independent power plant, an IPP. Okay. So Edo, as we speak, most of our government building is being powered by Osiomo, and the large businesses are also being connected. But we have not stopped at that. We had also started looking at how do we support the micro, small, and medium enterprises, calling the MSMEs. Yeah. So part of what we had done was to come up with clustering, come up with a production center, come up with areas where, because I must say here that being able to get power, or the infrastructure for power, is very expensive. A kilometer of power, like to draw a line as we call it, it could cost up to $1 million. So it's imperative that when you want the power to be, you want to lower the cost for the small businesses, you now need to put them in a cluster where they can, or when we say clustering, it's more like placing services like water, power, access to good roads in a particular environment, and the businesses will all be located in that environment. And that is presently what we have done. We have done it successfully in the south. We are extending, or rather expanding to Edo Central and Edo North. Also for us, taxation is a big issue for investors. So one of what we have been able to do, and is still an ongoing process, is what we call the tax harmonization. Because what the Investment Promotion Office does is really we work very closely as facilitators to what we call ministry departments and agencies, ensuring that we can deliver efficient and effective services to the businesses and to the public. For some time, we have worked as a team, and we have been able to act with synergy in most of the policy drives in terms of driving the business environment and ease of doing business. You cannot partner with government without having some form of agreement.
Okay.
So as a state, you would have recalled that we went into a lot of what we call Memorandum of Understanding, what they call MOU. You can also call it Memorandum of Agreement, MOA.
Okay.
What we have done with that was to ensure that this business at the very infancy stage, they have the confidence of government that we will support them. And we can see that with several businesses as we speak. One of the businesses that came into Edo State at the very early stages of this government was Uber. Uber had started their business in Lagos and in Abuja. Edo was the third state that they were to come in. And people would say, oh, Uber, infrastructure and all of that. At that time, we had, based on our investment drive, had invited automobiles and automotive companies, Volkswagen of this world, Peugeot, all of them to Edo State. And they came into Edo State to come and look at the environment. And maybe, if I may also share this information, that Edo is the second largest in terms of vehicle sales after Lagos. So that had attracted most of them. And as we speak today, just last week here, we are having one of the very big manufacturing companies in China, Photon, coming to Edo State to have an assembly plant. These are all part of the memorandum of understanding we had 5 years or 6 years ago.
Okay.
So investment is not something that happens in a minute. It's something that you have to build confidence, you have to show transparency, you have to build accountability. That is where you gain investors' confidence. And that is part of what we have done through our policy reforms and our policy drives.
In terms of the small, medium scale that we have around the state, how have you been able to work with them, give them that confidence for them to be able to walk into your office and say, oh, we need this or that? Is there any way of assisting them in terms of fund, grants?
Okay, great, yeah. Great. So let me put it this way. We don't work alone. We work with sister agencies. So I'll quickly mention them. We have the Ministry of Business, Trade and Cooperatives. We have the what we call the Edo Jobs, which has to do with skills upscaling.
Yeah.
And what we have done really, why is this synergy? The synergy is that we really deal with what we call the large corporates, the large businesses. But something we discovered and we started having that very close knitted synergy was a lot of the large businesses that come in, they have what we call auxiliaries. They want to be able to get vendors. And we want our small businesses, or MSMEs as you will call them in Edo, to be able to be beneficiaries of such, and not maybe you find a situation where you are having to have, maybe they will need a vendor to maybe do some job for them, they have to go to Lagos. So we started working towards also building the capabilities of our vendors here, our businesses in Edo State, so that they can also serve the large businesses. What we have also done is to have constant engagements with the private sector. We ensure that the private sector, we have a listening ear in what they have to say to us, and their pain point is very important to us. We had also partnered at some point with the Bank of Industry to provide access to finance. But I can tell you here most times that the challenge with the MSMEs, as we call them, may not always be finance. So very recently, we started promoting, in collaboration with our sister agencies, made in Edo products. The reason for this was we wanted a situation where these products can be on the shelves of supermarkets. So for us, MSMEs, as you know, they have a large portion which they play in the economy. In fact, you can say most of the jobs that are being given is by MSMEs. So we don't play with them. That is the reality. We don't have answers to everything for them, But we are, I can say that we are working together to see that we come up with solutions as we move along to see that they are okay. And one of such solutions is also working with the regulatory bodies like NAFDAC, like Standard Organization of Nigeria, to see that these products are also certified, to ensure that they can also leave the shores of Nigeria to other places.
Okay, good. Now, in terms of all of this, from 2018 to date, if we were to summarize, how will you put that in terms of the story, the successes of your office in ensuring that we are able to develop and attract businesses to the state?
I wouldn't want to say success. The reason is that I would say thank you. Thank you to the businesses. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for, having confidence in what we do, the services we provide. It's we working as a team, both from the public sector side, like we say, as they say to us, that we are their voice in government. Okay. So really, we'll continue to do what we do. We are always open to ideas and suggestions that would further improve the services we offer. And in doing that, we are using technology. We are going online pretty soon in terms of how we, getting feedback from the businesses and even treating to their concerns in terms of their proposals, in terms of their, their requests, in terms of their letters.
Yeah. In doing all of this, I'm sure there must be some challenges from your end that you face. Maybe you want to quickly, let's look at those challenges.
As the businesses know, is that we don't discuss challenges when we talk about solutions. Okay. We don't see challenges. Okay. Everything we see most is more like, the opportunities, because in every challenge is an opportunity. That's how we see it. We have a product mindset where, continuous improvement. So it's more like that challenge poses an opportunity for us, and that's what we see most times. We hardly see challenge. We don't see anything as a challenge, really.
So in that regard, how much has your office done in trying to really open up these opportunities to let people see, to let investors see? So what really are the opportunities in Edo?
Good. Talking about opening the space, as you have mentioned, for us is engagement. We want to be able to, or rather what we are doing also is working with the private sector. We are very close with what we call the business management organizations. So what I mean is that the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Benin Chambers of Commerce, Edo Industrialists, all of that export cluster, we are constantly synergizing and constantly brainstorming on how to ensure that Edo is that preferred investment destination. And sincerely, it has been a good one, I must confess now, because you find a situation where businesses now have so much confidence. When they have issues, they just call us immediately. They see us as partners to provide solutions to the issues. So they don't see themselves as complaining to government anymore. It's like they know that our doors are open. They know that they have access to us. They know that they can, even at 1 a.m., we can have conversations on how to resolve any issue at all. And that has been working very well. So expanding anything has to do with trust. The businesses, we have been able to work, and this could be relative, but where we stand, we have been able to work with the businesses to have that trust that government will respond to their issues.
You talked about Edo as a preferred destination. Perhaps you want to let us know why really, or what are the things that make Edo a preferred destination? Why will investors, businesses leave places like Lagos, Port Harcourt, even our neighbor, nature and all the rest, to come and domicile in Benin?
Yes.
What makes Edo?
So Edo State, first and foremost, we have a young population. A lot of even the developed economic climates right now are battling with aged population. Okay. It means that you can actually have a sustainable workforce that will make your business expand. Okay. A lot of the developed economies are grappling with that issue right now of an aged population. We don't suffer that. In Edo State, 60 to 70% of the population is between the ages of 15 to about 40, 45. And so that gives us a very good opportunity as a state. We are a transit hub. When we did the last, and this was speaking with, working analysis with our development partners, within a 400 kilometer radius, that's if you put a 400 kilometer radius, you have about 70 million people that you can reach out of the 200 plus million people that is the population of our country, Nigeria. What that means is that you have huge access to market. And most of the infrastructure, seaports, are within that 400 kilometer radius. Edo is blessed with the climates you can think of for if you want to look at agriculture. We are blessed with all around the year, our climates is most conducive for agricultural products. Also, as a state, one very important thing that it's for investors and businesses is the political will. Edo enjoys the political will. I can tell you that we are investors friendly. Okay. His Excellency, once he hears any issues about businesses, he wants to make sure that it is resolved immediately. We have a huge diaspora community. Okay. That helps us a lot in terms of when you are looking at access to market also. They support a lot of things that we do here as a state. Then we have natural resources. Edo has the highest onshore gas in the country, onshore gas. We are also blessed with minerals, limestone, and I don't know, we have gold in Edo. Okay. We have gold in Edo. And we have a beautiful culture. So most times, before investors come into any environment, they come as tourists. Edo has a very long culture, a culture that dates back into the centuries, and the people are very accommodating. I can say that we are one of the most accommodating, people, not just even within Nigeria, even in the South. So they are also very progressive in their mindset. We are very entrepreneurial in our mindset. And very recently, we have been driving technology. I'm sure you're aware, just a few, I can say, days or hours ago, we are joined as the state, the first state that is technologically enabled. So we're not just technologically enabled in the public sector, we're also driving in the private sector. So we have come up with internet, broadband. We have working towards over 2,000 kilometers of fiber connectivity, broadband within the state. And that also drives businesses, because without you not having internet, you cannot do a lot of business. There are a lot of things that you may not be able to achieve without the internet service. And we are one of the states that are driving the internet to all 18 local government areas within the state.
Yeah, thank you. Let's quickly look at this issue, which I think is also germane to us as a state, the issue of the diaspora population that you earlier mentioned. We do know that we rate high in that respect, especially within this era. Now, what are the opportunities and what are the incentives, or how are we driving that market to ensure that our people in the diaspora, they have a share of the pie in terms of coming to invest in their state?
Interestingly, earlier on in the administration, we did a lot of road shows towards our diaspora, if you recall, and they were all very confident and they are still confident in this administration, what we want to achieve. There's no week the office, we don't have conversations with those in diaspora. And again, we had set up an investment desk, a diaspora desk in the office. We have a diaspora desk, which we are ensuring that when you have your issues, as that's why when it comes to investment now, businesses, you have the ministry also that deals with other issues in terms of the diaspora.
Yeah, in terms of looking at our economy as a state, what exactly is the volume of the state economy or businesses in the state? Is this something we can talk about?
Yes, yes. In Edo State, we have over 1 million plus businesses.
Okay.
But 90% of those businesses are in the micro. So that the micro level. And what we are working towards, what I talked about my sister, the sister agencies, is to see that how do you upscale. So for us, is to see that that business can upscale. So if year 1, you have 5 people that you are employing, in year 4, we should see that you have been able to upscale. Maybe you now have 10 or 20 people you are employing. In year 5, you have, before you know, you are a large business. That's how business actually works. So as a government, our duty really, our role is to see that we facilitate and ensure that that business do not die. And that is exactly what we are doing in Edo State.
Okay. Now, in all of this, we just have a year or thereabout, just under a year for this admission to wind down. Now, in that respect, how sustainable, what are in place to ensure that all of this initiative, especially the office, is sustainable?
Okay, thank you. So let me put it this way. We are not winding down. We are finishing strong. Okay. We are not winding down. Government is continuum. We are only transiting. So it's my handing the baton. So we want to hand the baton in a very strong manner that even the person that will take that baton, the energy that will go into that person, even though he was weak, he will start to run. Okay. Are you getting it? So for us, this is even a very important period. The energy is ×2 of what you saw in 2016 because it's for the Edo people. So talking about the office, everything we're talking about now is institutionalization. It's not about one person. I can say it here, it's not about the governor. I want to just say it now to my Edo people. What we are doing going to next year is not about the governor. So we need to think about Edo. And in doing so, the people are the sustainability. We need to ensure that whatever we have gained, we build on it. Because what you're saying is foundational. The government is continuum. We have put everything in place. We're still putting building blocks in place to ensure that Edo people can live comfortably and go about their business comfortably. That's what is more important. And when you are doing business, you can do it in a profitable manner. So for us, the people are part of what we create that sustainability you are speaking about. Okay. And if you have been able to enjoy certain resources and someone else is coming and say you cannot enjoy that resources, you may need to give heavy explanation why you cannot enjoy that resources.
The governor has been driving the vision of making Edo great again. So in that respect, having worked with the governor for this number of years, how would you describe the governor? What kind of a person, a visionary and a leader that he is?
I just have one word. He has a good heart. I've said it. It's not about, I've seen, competence. It's beyond competence. It's beyond leadership. It's you having a good heart. Every decision you take, you do not take it for yourself. The people are always at the front of your decision making. So some decisions may be unpopular. I must say this. But when you're taking decisions for the people, be rest assured that some decisions will be unpopular. I want to say, as Edo people, we should think Edo first before anything and set aside any form of bias or any form of, you would like call it instigation sometimes. The governor is a man with a good heart. I don't even want to go about his, personality and all of that. Okay. I would just say that.
So we'll leave that as we begin to close down now. Let's look at the issue of foreign direct investment into Edo State. We know that a recent report from the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics has revealed that some states, for the past couple of years, they are not able to attract any FDI into their state. What is the situation with Edo State? How well have we done in that area?
Like I said, in the last 7 years, we have attracted $2.5 billion verifiable in domestic investment and foreign direct investments. We had changed the way we were thinking about FDIs. Before now, we were more, big on pushing FDIs. We now said, no, we have investors, local investors in Lagos. You have in other places, Port Harcourt, you have in Abuja, you have all of that. You have Nigerians that are just waiting for you to tell them where they should put their funds. So we changed the strategy and started pursuing DDIs at 70% and FDIs at 30%. We need to be creative. We are in an age right now, we're talking about fourth revolution and all of that. We need to be creative in the way we are looking at all of these indices. So for some of us, when I hear, oh, you are using just capital importation to look at FDIs coming in, I laugh because the business have gone past capital importation. Most of the funds that have been used to do all of these businesses, you will not find them under that capital importation. And also you will not, and this is me just being sincere, because we need to first be Nigerians.
Okay, you want to close in on the visit of Futo recently. That was about early the week or last week. We had that visitation to your office. Yes. So tell us exactly what is in the offering for the state.
Okay, Futon is one of the largest car assembly manufacturers, you can call them, in China. They fall in love with Edo State, I will use the word. We've been on this for some time. Like I always say, there are a lot of investment going on in Edo State. Because of confidentiality, we don't speak about them until we get authorities from the investors. But one of the things we do very well is trust, transparency, accountability, and respect for the investor. So Futon have seen Edo as a home. They don't just want to even assemble vehicles in Edo State. They want to be able to do that and also send it out to other African countries. They are looking at also taking advantage of what we call the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Okay. And that is exactly what we are offering to investors that want to come into Nigeria. Edo, we have the political will, and we are ready to support you end to end to see that your business thrive. So companies like Futon is already taking advantage of that.
Thank you, viewers. That is the Edo story for you, where we have talked extensively about the Edo State Investment and Promotion Office, all that we have done within the past couple of years. We are glad that you were with us on this journey. We'll be with you sometime again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to my people.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much.